Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Fright Friday. And today we are talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer. And so I hope you stick around. We'll be talking about cast, production, critical response, my thoughts on the film, this edition, and so much more. So be sure to stick around. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed recently and given me the thumbs up and left awesome comments on my videos. I appreciate that. And this comes hot on the heels of Halloween, all horror movie fans' favorite time of year. So I hope you had a great Halloween. And today we are talking about this movie. I Know What You Did Last Summer. No, really, I do. And I'm not impressed. This is a horror slasher film from 1997, directed by Jim Gillespie, who did the movie Detox, aka I See You, EYE, with Sylvester Stallone, a movie I've never seen but heard good things about. I don't think he directed a lot of other things that I know about, but this one's probably his biggest directorial effort. This movie stars Jennifer Love Hewitt, who was also in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, as well as the TV show Party of Five. This also stars the lovely Sarah Michelle Gellar, who was in Scream 2, Scooby-Doo, the live-action movies 1 and 2, The Grudge, American remake 1 and 2, as well as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, probably her most recognized role. This also stars Ryan Felipe, right over here, who is also in Cruel Intentions, and this also stars the, did I get that wrong? Oh yeah, sorry, that's Ryan Felipe. That's Freddie Prinze Jr., who I was about to say, who was also in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, as well as the live-action Scooby-Doo 1 and 2. And he's also done a bunch of voice work for animated stuff, including some of the Star Wars animated shows more recently. So that's kind of cool. This was hot on the heels of Scream, and because Scream came out the year before. And so I think this movie got unfairly compared to Scream in a lot of ways. And I don't know. This movie was loosely based on the 1973 novel of the same name by a person named Lois Duncan. The film also draws inspiration from the urban legend known as The Hook, the man with the hook, and also takes inspiration from 80s slasher films Prom Night and House on Sorority Row. Where Kevin Williamson, the writer of the screenplay for Scream, contained prominent elements of satire and self-referentiality. His adaptation of I Know What You Did Last Summer reworked the novel's central plot to resemble a straightforward 1980s era slasher film. After the success of Scream, this movie was rushed into production. So all of these young actors at that time, it was like, let's strike while the iron's hot. Let's get as many of these movies going. And there was lots of other YouTube channels have talked about that time in movie history, where it was like Valentine and Urban Legends and Soul Survivor, and there were like, you could even say Final Destination. Like there was so many of these like teen kind of horror thrillers coming out, and this one, of course, was no exception. Scream was a huge hit for Wes Craven, and then this one was rushed into production immediately after. Not obviously with Wes Craven, but the studios wanted to get some more stuff out quickly because they wanted to build on that success of Scream. The budget was $17 million, and the box office was a whopping $125.3 million. Melissa Joan Hart was offered a role, but she turned it down because she felt that the film was a ripoff of Scream. For those of you who don't know, Melissa Joan Hart was Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the late 90s TV version of that character. Too much like Scream. Like, who cares? I mean, if I was Melissa Joan Hart, I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to be in this. Like, it's going to be a huge movie, which it was. I don't know. And then now she's, currently residing in the Where Are They Now file, as far as I'm concerned. But if I was in her shoes at this time, I would have said absolutely yes, because all these stars were huge. Kevin Williamson was coming in hot after Scream. You just had that whole hype of that sort of teen horror thriller kind of thing coming out. This was, I don't want to say this movie was guaranteed to be a hit, but it was, it was, people were probably thinking, yeah, this is probably going to be a hit, and it did prove to be a hit at the box office. Of course, critically, we'll get to that in a minute, but it wasn't as well received as Scream. Let's just put it that way. Principal photography for this film began in March of 1997 and took place over a period of 10 weeks. Approximately 7 weeks of the 10 weeks shoot took place at night, with Gillespie saying that it was difficult for the cast and crew, and also created commotion in primary small town locations where they were shooting the movie. So you hear a lot about movies that shoot at night, how difficult it is, and you have to do work weird hours. And like Blade Runner is a very famous example of that, where they shot a lot at night, and it caused a lot of stress for the cast and crew. The director Gillespie chose to film virtually no on-screen blood, as he did not want the film to be overly gratuitous in terms of violence. Lois Duncan, the author of the original novel, heavily criticized the film adaptation. She stated in a 2002 interview that she was appalled that her story was turned into a slasher film. So, yeah. This film was not well received by the critics when it came out. It currently holds a 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like I said earlier, it kind of got unfairly compared to Scream from the year before. A lot of critics thought it was too generic and that it came out too late. I guess a lot of critics were kind of saying that, like, if this had come out in the 80s, it probably would have been like I guess it would have fit in better or something because it's more of a slasher. But I don't really know where they're going with that kind of thought line of thinking. But I thought it was a cool movie. My thoughts on this film, maybe I have nostalgia for that time because it was a pretty good time in my life. And like Scream came out, and I loved Scream, the first one. I liked the second and third one as well, but this one came hot on the heels of that one. And I actually even I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and I know that one's like universally, not despised, but people don't like the sequel to this film. I thought this was a fun little teenage thriller horror. I thought the pacing was pretty good. There was some good tension in it. I liked the killer guy with the rain slicker and the hat and the hook for a hand. He's creepy. You don't really get to see much of him in the film. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but you don't really see much of him in it as far as like who he is. But like he's kind of in the background a lot, like in his suit, and you kind of like can't see his face, and he's pretty, like, I thought it was pretty scary. I think this movie for me really still holds up. Again, I really liked it when it came out, and I've always had a soft spot in my heart for it. And like I said, even the sequel, which is set on an island in a tropical storm or whatever, I just like the setting for that one. It's not an amazing film by any stretch, but I thought it was a solid follow-up to this one. There is a third one, which I think was a direct-to-video. It's called I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. I've never seen that. It had a whole different cast, and I just really heard not good things about it, and I just avoided it. But if you're looking for a good 90s teen thriller slasher, got lots of 90s music in it, like all the alternative type soundtrack. The main characters are likable. I mean, Jennifer Love Hewitt has some pretty memorable lines in it, like, "What are you gonna do, huh?" Like those scenes, like I could see those in my mind when I think about this movie. Freddie Prinze Jr., I really, really like him. I don't think he's a great actor, but I think he does a decent job in this movie. The whole cast was pretty good. Yeah, it's just a creepy little thriller. So that's my thoughts on this film. I will watch this movie over and over again. I know I'm going to watch this movie probably every year or every couple of years. I just really like it. I know it's not the most well-loved of those movies, but you could do far worse as far as those ones go. And I would put this, I mean, in my opinion, probably not as high as Scream for me, like the first Scream, but I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. highly recommend this if you like that kind of stuff. Let me know your thoughts on this film in the comments below. Consider giving me the thumbs up if you like this review. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Follow me over on Instagram at Night Owl Video. And until next time, I will see you at the video store, or at the thrift store, or just out and about somewhere, or maybe I'll see you running through a small town being chased by a man with a hook. Who knows? But I mean, I hope that doesn't happen to you. But until next time, take good care of yourselves, take good care of your family. The world is very strange and people are getting really weird. So take good care of yourselves. Take some time away from things if you're feeling overwhelmed. That's okay. And if you're looking for a little escapism, you could do worse. This is just your little mindless teenage thriller escapism film. So go check it out and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, I will see you in the next video.